In the heart of the Ashanti kingdom, where the sun kisses the earth with a golden glow, lived a young woman named Akua. An orphan, her world was as small as the humble hut she called home, and her only companion was the echo of her own dreams. She was a weaver of tales, her fingers dancing across the loom, creating kente cloths that told stories of kings and queens she could only imagine. Little did she know, her own story was about to become the most extraordinary tale of all. One fateful morning, as the harmattan winds whispered through the cocoa trees, a royal procession passed through her village. At its head was the handsome and wise King Osei, his eyes carrying the weight of his kingdom. Their eyes met for a fleeting moment, a spark, a connection that neither could explain nor forget. For Akua, it was a glimpse into a world she never thought she'd touch. For the king, it was a vision of purity and strength he hadn't seen in his gilded palace. But love, like a stubborn vine, often grows in the most difficult places. The Queen Mother, a woman whose ambition was as sharp as her tongue, had already chosen a bride for her son, the Princess Amma, daughter of a powerful neighboring chief. Amma was beautiful, yes, but her heart was a cold stone, consumed by envy. She saw the king's lingering gaze on the poor orphan, and a seed of bitter hatred was planted. Akua, innocent and unaware, had just made a powerful enemy. Soon, whispers turned to accusations. A precious royal heirloom, the golden stool's ceremonial sash, went missing. And who was blamed? The outsider, the orphan. Princess Amma, with a venomous smile, presented a tattered piece of kente cloth found near the empty display, a pattern unique to Akua's loom. It was a lie, a cruel, calculated trap. Dragged before the royal court, Akua stood alone, her heart pounding like a drum. The king's eyes were filled with conflict, torn between duty and a feeling he couldn't ignore. "I am innocent, Your Majesty," she pleaded, her voice trembling but firm. "I have only ever woven with honesty in my threads." But the evidence was stacked against her. The elders murmured, the Queen Mother's glare was icy, and Princess Amma watched with triumphant glee. Akua was declared guilty and cast out, banished from the very village that was her entire world. As she wandered into the dense forest, with nothing but the clothes on her back and a broken heart, Akua felt despair consume her. Was this her fate? To be remembered as a thief? But as tears streamed down her face, a new resolve hardened within her. She would not let a lie define her. She would survive. She would prove her innocence, not for the king or the court, but for herself. Months turned into a year. Akua learned the secrets of the forest, guided by an old herbalist who saw the truth in her eyes. She grew stronger, wiser, her spirit as resilient as the ancient baobab trees. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, a shadow was falling. A mysterious illness, a creeping poison, had taken hold of King Osei. The royal healers were baffled, their remedies useless. The king grew weaker each day, his life slipping away like sand through an hourglass. The kingdom was in turmoil. It was then that the Queen Mother, in her desperation, recalled a prophecy from long ago, when the lion of Ashanti is felled by a serpent's bite. Only the weaver's lost thread can mend his life. The prophecy, once dismissed as folklore, now echoed with terrifying urgency. The weaver's lost thread. The Queen Mother's blood ran cold. Could it be the orphan girl she had so cruelly cast away? Word of the king's affliction reached Akua in the heart of the forest. The old herbalist recognized the symptoms from Akua's description of the events. It wasn't an illness, it was a slow-acting poison, its ingredients known only to a few. A poison that could be traced back to the bitter herbs that grew only in the region of Princess Amma's homeland. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. The missing sash, the false accusation, the king's sickness, it was all connected. It was a coup, orchestrated by Amma to seize power. Akua knew she had to act. With a potent antidote crafted from rare forest flowers, she disguised herself as a frail, old woman and journeyed back to the capital. Sneaking into the palace was a risk that could mean her death, but the thought of the kind king, a victim of the same treachery that had ruined her life, spurred her on. She navigated the corridors like a ghost, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. She found the king, pale and barely breathing. As she reached to give him the antidote, the chamber doors burst open. It was Princess Amma, flanked by guards. "Seize the assassin," she shrieked, her face a mask of fury. The trap had been sprung, but Acua was no longer the frightened girl from the village. She stood tall, her disguise falling away. "The only assassin here is you, Amma," Acua declared, her voice ringing with newfound power. Before the guards could seize her, she revealed the antidote and explained the poison's origin, her words weaving a tale of betrayal so shocking it left the court speechless. At that moment, the king, given a moment of clarity by the commotion, whispered a single word: "Believe her." His own royal guard, loyal to him above all, hesitated, turning their eyes from Amma to Acua. The standoff was electric. The fate of a kingdom hung in the balance, resting on the shoulders of a poor orphan who had returned from exile. With the king's faint endorsement, Acua was allowed to administer the antidote. The moments that followed were agonizingly slow. Then, color returned to the king's face. His breathing steadied. He opened his eyes, clear and sharp for the first time in months. He sat up, his strength returning, and looked at Acua, not as a king to a subject, but as a man saved by his savior. The truth, once revealed, was undeniable. Evidence of Amma's conspiracy was quickly uncovered. Her treachery exposed. She and her co-conspirators faced the swift justice of the crown. The queen mother, humbled and shamed, begged for forgiveness from both her son and the woman she had wronged. In a grand ceremony, King Osei cleared Acua's name, restoring her honor in front of the entire kingdom. But he did more than that. He held up the Kent cloth she had woven, the one he had secretly kept, and declared it a symbol of truth and resilience. "This woman," he announced, his voice booming with admiration, "has a heart more royal than any crown. She did not just save my life. She saved the very soul of our kingdom from the poison of deceit." He turned to her, his eyes full of love and respect. "Acua, you have woven a new destiny for us all. Will you stand by my side, not as a subject, but as my queen, and help me weave a future of justice and compassion for our people?" Tears of joy streamed down Acua's face as the crowd erupted in cheers. The poor orphan, once rejected and betrayed, had not only saved the king, but had found her true place, not in a humble hut, but in the heart of the kingdom and its king. Her story, once a lonely whisper, became a legend sung for generations, a testament to the fact that true nobility lies not in birth, but in the strength and purity of one's heart. Thank you so much for watching our story today. If you enjoyed Acua's incredible journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you next time.